We just over here reeling out classics. You notice that eye test debate. It's your boy Dame. Subscribe to me, Damian Harkless. Appreciating much love to my subscribers thus far. We've been rocking. We've been doing this. You see it. Kevin, the big ticket, Garnett. Terry, the big fundamental, Duncan. You got Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett. This video was requested by many of the subscribers. At least 6, 7 of them said, hey man, do Tim Duncan versus Garnett, man. And I feel y'all on this one. These are two players I grew up on, two legends, two Hall of Famers, contrasting styles. Everybody want to compare them, you feel me, especially in their times. 1A, 1B, whichever one you want to go with as far as power forwards. You got Dirk too. Shout out to my boy Dirk. I was finna do a 3-man, but we're going to keep it with the eye test 2-man for now. I'll get Dirk later. But yeah, you got two greats, two people of my time, two people I'm honored to even do the eye test on. So without further ado, let's get it poppin'. Smack! Alright, so who is the better scorer? Now, both these players, 20 and 10 type dudes their whole career, so scoring has never been a problem for either one of them. For me, I got Mr. Fundamental, Tim Duncan. Why? It's because of the array and the facet in which he scores. They don't call him Mr. Fundamental for no reason. Tim Duncan is one of the most skilled big men to ever grace this planet. I would say aside from Hakeem, he's the most fundamentally sound player over 7 feet tall. So as far as offensive scoring, it's not a move he can't do. He had a better spin move than Duncan. He had better hook shots. He got better positioning. In contrast, Kevin Garnett was more so a perimeter face-up power forward. If he was to be in a post, often he'll do that shimmy with the shoulders and do a fadeaway right over your head. But more often than not, he's going to triple threat and try to acquire a jump shot. So, in my facet of scoring, I'm more inclined to give it to the one who does it in all ways. Tim Duncan will get you the bank shot at the mid elbow. Tim Duncan will get you just backing you down by brute force. Tim Duncan will get you on some slick pick and roll or pick and dive type shit. Tim Duncan will get you in so many ways. Now, Garnett only had a few ways of scoring, and that's just being honest. The face up, the shimmy, and maybe off a dive he'll get a dunk or something like that. He just was very profane. It was like his fadeaway was like Kareem's hook shot. Kareem had it automatic. Garnett shit was automatic at some point. So transition to shooting, Garnett was the better shooter. That was his game. He's an outside face-up power forward. Tim Duncan is no face-up power forward. He can face up though. That's the variation. Duncan is baby Hakeem to me, baby. You talk about all the moves, all the skill sets, the IQ, and the mentality to know where to be at all times. Tim Duncan was there as far as offense, but shooting, I got Garnett. Rebounding, I'm taking Tim Duncan. For the simple fact, Garnett was, yes, more athletic, so you can tag Garnett that, the more athlete. But I'm taking Tim Duncan because when it comes to positioning, when it comes to boxing out, when it comes to rebounding and securing it with two hands, Tim Duncan is so sound at it fundamentally to where I'm banking on him to do it even when him and Garnett are matched up. That just is what it is. Garnett may have averaged more throughout his career, but that may be because he was the more domineering opponent when it came to his opposers. When it comes to Duncan, you're against somebody of the same stature, the same caliber, so let's get it done. Rebounding, they're both Hall of Fame rebounders, they're both Hall of Fame shot blockers. Who's the better blocker? I got Kevin Garnett because he, to me, is the better off-ball defender. He's more prone to play off-ball. But that leaves you at a disadvantage when it comes to playing the man. So who's the better defender? I would say Duncan because he's also a great shot blocker off the ball, but he's an excellent on-ball shot blocker and an even better excellent on-ball defender. Duncan almost modeled Hakeem when it came to defense. He's not biting for your head fakes. He's not biting for anything. Speaking of head fakes, Duncan had the better head fake on offense. That's just random. But he's not biting for your stuff. He's just going to put up two hands and contest and contend. Whereas Garnett is more prone to bite off a head fake, jump. He's looking to block pretty much everything. That was just Garnett's game. But that effectiveness in his blocking made it to where, he could turn up, get the crowd amped, beat it up through the stance. Duncan wasn't really that type. He's more to block your dunk. So defense, I got Duncan. Because that on-ball D, you feel me, it's unquestioned. He can guard Shaq. I've seen him guard Shaq before. He's one of the few who can contend with Shaq. And there's nobody to me who he can't guard down there. So defense, I got Duncan. What else we got? Okay, we got clutch. Now, I haven't known Garnett to be clutch. And that's just from my personal anecdotes and watching him growing up. I've seen a lot of his playoffs against the Spurs, against the Lakers. I've seen a lot of his playoff appearances, and he never really had too many big moments. Whereas Duncan, I can almost remember off the head where he came up big against Miami, where Ray Allen hit the big three. He had like 30 in the first half. When Fisher hit his .4 right before that, Duncan hit the shot to get it, you feel me, to that situation. I remember him killing against Phoenix in a good-ass series where Nash was killing versus Dallas. As many times I've seen Duncan come up big in clutch situations. So, to me, his clutch is unquestioned, whereas Garnett's, I haven't really seen it as much. I don't think Garnett was too much of the clutch player, and one of the reasons for that, I would say, is because his one-on-one isolation game isn't as prolific as Duncan's. Like I said, Duncan had the array of moves, whether it be the jump hook, whether it be the post spin, whether it be the face-up bank shot, whether it be the little foot. He had better footwork. Like, it's just many factors to being clutch, and isolation is always something critical in being clutch. Garnett is more prone to just shoot right over you. So clutch, Duncan, intangibles, Duncan. When you talk about intangibles, you got to talk about things that aren't spoken of, like boxing out. You got to talk about making that outlet pass. Like Tim Duncan is one of the greater outlet passers. People don't really acknowledge him for being a great passer, but out the post he commanded the double, and he had to pass very well, and he did pass very well, whereas Duncan wasn't. That's a nice pass right there. Whereas Garnett wasn't so much the passer. So if we can even transition to that passing, I think that's clearly Tim Duncan. But back to intangibles, you got to talk about clutch. You got to talk about boxing out. You got to talk about being where you need to be on offense and defense. And for me, it's always Duncan. Garnett is a great player, a great athlete, and he was very dominant in his time. He was dominant because he had the best fadeaway in the game, him alongside Kobe for a long time. Those two players, you feel me, can live off one move. Kobe didn't, but Garnett pretty much lived off one move. But if you talk about intangibles, being where you need to be, help line, blocking, help D, not helping when need to help, making the right play, not losing your temper. Garnett, these are two different characters as well. Garnett would lose his temper, flip his top. Tim Duncan, foul somebody, all he do is put his hand up. Like, that equates to intangibles as well. So, intangibles, I got Tim Duncan, no question. And then you have to factor free throws. Like, they both were okay. I think Garnett was a little bit better by percentage. Duncan started off a little horrible, but then he picked it up as the years went by. And in clutch situations, he wouldn't be counted on to miss those free throws. He would knock them down. Like I said, Garnett is the faster, more athletic, so dunk-ons, he might be more prone to catch a body off the dribble, but Tim Duncan, as far as his moves, I mean, you've seen it a few times in his game. Tim Duncan will catch a body real quick just because he's so skilled. So we transition to skill. Who's the better skilled player? As far as fundamentals and skill, they kind of go hand in hand, so that should be easy for you too. Tim Duncan. Now, I don't want y'all to feel like I'm sleeping on Garnett. Like Garnett was just, you know what I'm saying, not a supreme player. Garnett is an elite player. But if you really break down the components in Duncan's game, like left hand block, right hand block, left hand dunk on, right hand dunk on, and you start breaking down what Garnett did and how he got his buckets, and like a supreme athlete, no doubt. But when you talk about basketball skill, Tim Duncan, it's a reason why they call him a big fundamental. It's not just a myth. And I don't even have to mention rings when I compare these players. He's not better because he got the rings. He's not. He's a better player to me because he shows more basketball savvy, basketball skill, and he has a better IQ to me than Kevin Garnett. It just is what it is. Now, if I'm missing any categories, y'all should let me know, but I'm pretty sure I covered pretty much everything. Athlete, Garnett. Skill, Duncan. Passing, Duncan. Shooting, Garnett. Post play, Duncan. Scoring, Duncan. Rebounding, Duncan. Did I say passing? If not, clearly Duncan. I mean, this is a good comparison, I guess. But for me, it was pretty much clear cut. And watching Duncan my whole career and seeing how he operated. He's the only person I've ever seen really stagnate Shaq on defense. Yao had something for him on offense. He was clutch as shit, big time, his whole career. And as far as skill set, it's only one person I can even compare him to as a big, and it would be Dream. I think Dream had more skill, but right after Dream goes Tim Duncan as far as somebody 7 foot tall. So yeah, man, I got Tim Duncan. If you got Kevin Garnett, chime in, ask me why. If you got Kevin Garnett, I'll probably, you feel me, premise by saying you probably favor athleticism or aesthetics, maybe. People would say Tim Duncan wasn't exciting. To me, fundamentals and operating basketball savvy is exciting as fuck. So when I watched Tim Duncan, I used to be like, oh, this nigga cold. But that's just me. Like, some people may favor the athletic, you know what I'm saying, Brown package type over the, you feel me, Mamba package type. But yeah, I got Tim Duncan. Holla at your boy. It's your boy Dame. I test. We do it, Hall of Fame edition. Who you got? Peace.